Buying the new AK, it could be so stressful. What to do? Fear not. Here I am, and I'm going to guide you through the simple process how to accomplish the mission and walk out from your local LGS or FFL dealer after the transfer with the AK in your hands, which is a good chance is going to serve you well. And this goes not just for the new one AKs, but also for the used ones. So what we want to start with right away, I will tell you, bring some extra empty mags so you're not going to cause the heart attack at the LGS store, and ask them if you can try to fit them to the magazine. Well, number one complaint from you guys after receiving AK from the LGS or after the FFL transfer is that you have issues with fitting the magazine to the magazine. Well, it works with the magazine which came with it, but it does not work with any other mag. So that's the idea. Bring other magazines, check how they are locking in, check if you got any issues with different types of the magazines. This will give you an idea what's going on that magazine. Well, sometimes it may be very easy to correct when you will purchase it, just slightly file out, open up that magazine. Well, but sometimes there may be something with the magazine catch release, and that's going to cause you problems or issues. So you have to be prepared and kind of iron out that first obstacle right away. Bring different types of the magazines, see how they are locking into the magazine well. It can only help you. But ask your local LGS crew. Don't spook them. They may be sensitive if you try to put something to the magazine well without their permission. And I'm not talking about fingering the hole. All right, the next thing what we going to look after is always place the rifle in front of you just like I have it, and have a general pick how straight this rifle is. Look at the rear leaf post. This could be canted sometimes, and look at the front post because that could be canted too. Some slight cant probably will happen on most of the AKs, but since you are a picky customer, right, you're looking to have this as straight as possible. And as I said, the canted front post often happens on AKs. And I know 2021, you would expect more, but it is still happening. Even this is basically the Bulgarian SLR 107 FR, and even those I have with canted sights. And Arsenal will not even talk to you if you will complain about canted sights if you can zero it. So unless you cannot zero, then they will address the issue. But canted sights are okay, maybe not okay, but they are common on AK. However, during the vetting out process, you can check and see how the front post, gas block, and that rear leaf base is lining up, and it will give you the good idea how the rifle is looking like. Next thing what I would strongly advise you is to go over the rivets. Check all the rivets, how they are looking like, how they are formed. Is the rivet, this is the easiest way. You take just basic rifle like this and you will look underneath of the light source and see if there is any light peeking through from underneath of the rivets. Check both sides, don't forget about flipping to the other side. If there is a light gap, if the rivet is crushed, deformed, broken, I have seen any kind of fuck-ups, probably put that rifle away and look for another one. Now, even with some rivets, like on the front trunnion, deformed, that rifle still will be probably functioning fine. But since you are a picky customer, check those rivets and see if you don't like it, don't accept it. Either if it's transferred, or don't buy that rifle, just ask for another one if there is another one on the shelf. Also, don't forget about the rivets on the trigger guard right here. Now, since we got that done, I also like to bring the optic mount, and you may have to adjust the tension screw to fit it, or like in this case, since this is a side folding stock, so I may have to depress that button slightly because it won't let me easy put that mount on the rail. But once you got it, okay, see how this optic is sitting, and you checking. I have seen screwed up, so maybe I'll turn it that way. I have seen screwed up side rails which they were tilting the optic either down completely or up, or they were completely screwed up. And if you will look at the side of the rifle, the optic was canted to the left or canted to the right over the dust cover. So that's the easiest way. You're just putting the optic mount on it, and you look how it is looking like, how it is placed on the rifle. Is it canted anyway? Is it tilted? Avoid buying. I would definitely walk out from the rifle which has canted or tilted side rails. I think that's just the sloppy manufacturing, and I would walk away from that rifle. Don't buy it at all. But also this will give you the good idea, if you have the optic mount, what's happening, how the optic mount will interact with your prospective project for buying or for purchasing, right? And it might not jelly well, so you'll be at least aware that this is not going to work for you, and you need a different mount or what obstacles you may have. So always bring the optic mount with the optic for that adventure, and see what's going on. Now, probably the most of the stores won't let you open the dust cover, but even without the dust cover, charge the rifle. And sometimes, see, this one is well beat up, but sometimes the new rifles will get sticky in the place like this. Basically, bolt will stop. That's not a big deal. That means it's just the brand new trigger. I would love to see on the new rifles that the manufacturers take their time to kind of polish that trigger fire control group to avoid that stickness in the back. This will go away. This will go away 300, 500 rounds down the pipe, or you can polish it by yourself using a nice sandpaper and file it out, you know, and make it smooth and easy. This will go away. So don't get scared that trigger, not the trigger, but the bolt carrier, it basically will hang up somewhere like that. Okay, that's kind of normal. But if they will allow you to take the dust cover off, I would definitely remove the dust cover, the recoil spring, and pull out the bolt carrier. And especially on the used rifles, I will check that side of, as we always look at the trunnion. How is the trunnion looking like? Is it beat up? Is it folding over? Or it's like maybe, you know, some signs of the locking shoulder being cracked or something like this. You don't want cracks on the locking shoulder, I'll tell you that much. Sometimes they have like a fold step over. That's absolutely normal on the rifles. Don't worry about that. But as long as that mating surface, locking surface on the locking shoulder and on the bolts is flat and locks perfectly, that's absolutely normal. Look into the chamber, see if you see any marks in the chamber, rust and things like this. If they will allow you, you know, to have a peek into the barrel, look into the barrel too. How is this looking like? Is this, you know, if you got the portable, you can get those mini USB or mini phone-like driven bore scopes and stick it inside, even better, if they will allow you. If not, you know, of course, there's nothing what you can do. Then look over inside the receiver, what's happening, and any signs of, you know, premature wear or beat up, then basically kind of avoid, of course, purchasing that rifle. But when you got the bolt away, check the locking locks. Check the locking locks, that this is the surface here, and check how they are, especially on the used rifles, how they are looking like. So it should be a nice flat surface, no like pitting or no steps, drastic, you know, deformations or folded completely over, because that would mean the loss of the mating surface with the locking shoulder, and that would cause probably a problem for you down the line. So look at that. You may check also that deformation on the rear. Some deformation on the rear here is absolutely normal, but I seen absolutely beat up rear ends, and they were like flattened, completely mushroomed out. So that's not good, because that is going to cause the malfunctions at some point. So check that rear end of the bolt carrier, and look at the camming channel if there's nothing wrong happening here. Wobbling of the piston is absolutely normal, so if the piston head is wobble, don't worry about that. So that's all cool. But again, that would allow the permission from the LGS to take the rifle apart. And that's pretty much it. That's like, you can really accomplish all of this in like 5 minutes and be done with it. One thing which I want to note, and this is perfectly fine and visible here, because this is the painted by me rifle. Look, you're going to have scratches on the receiver from the lever for the safety. That's normal, guys. That's nothing to sweat about it. This is how the AK works. You're going to have scratch up receiver when you rock that safety. One more thing I forgot about the rear leaf on the iron sights. Move it up, see if it's not wiggling. Like, see, I'm lifting it up and it's not wiggling excessively left or right. Sometimes I have seen them worn out for some strange reason, and they were like shifting left to right just from the recoil. That of course is going to affect your performance with the iron sights, so you don't want to have that. Also, that tension spring underneath of the rear leaf, it should keep them nice and snug when they're falling down, so they don't, like, if you can move it and they just flop, you put the rifle like this and the rear leaf falls down. Absolutely, that spring would have to be replaced, and no big deal, you can easily do that, but keep that in mind that you may need to do that or address that issue. All right, that's it. That's like, you can really roll with it within the 5 minutes and have a good idea when buying a new or used AK what to look for and what's happening on it. If you have any questions, as always, please ask me underneath of the video. I'll be monitoring the comments for 24 to 48 hours. I'll always try to do that and try to answer it, all your posted questions. As always, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for being with AKOU. And guys, see you in the next video. Bye.